Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. And it's interesting, we have people from quite a number of different countries around the world. So I know it's late in some places and we appreciate your time. Hey, my name is Sue Dengenis for those who don't know me. I am the marketing director at SYNCHRO, and today we have a guest presenter, Steve Moore from Robbins and Morton. And Steve is a very interesting guy. He's used SYNCHRO for a number of years, and he presents at a lot of industry conferences, so you may have seen him around. But he also, on the side, created this little device, and it's amazing. Never invented anything before, so it just going online and figuring out how to do stuff, he created this, and he's going to show you just what it can do today. And we do have a promotion going on, so we'll tell you about that at the end. Just want to quickly say that the webinar is being recorded, and we encourage you to submit questions throughout. It's being recorded, and we will send out the link to the recording afterwards. So I am going to pass the screen over to Steve and let him get started. And thanks again, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you, Sue, for that great introduction there. Perfect. So quick means of introduction. I'm Steve Moore. I'm primarily a scheduler. Spent my whole life, my whole career scheduling for the last decade. And billions of dollars of work, mostly in industrial, but I've changed over to the commercial sector. And I really feel passionate about planning and scheduling. In my house, I have a room in the basement. It's a tornado shelter, but I use it to make and create things. And I just love making stuff. I spend most of my time on job sites, going around, and I have a passion for 4D scheduling. And SYNCHRO is the tool we use. We actually schedule directly in SYNCHRO, so we're using the SYNCHRO Scheduler and Pro. And I go around to these job sites, and I'll do live 4D planning sessions where I'm able to make changes on the fly and show them the changes they've made and find their flaws and issues, and bring subcontractors and large groups of people all onto the same page really quickly. But one thing that was lacking was the ability to, let non-nerds run the business or run the meetings. So it always takes somebody with a lot of computer skills to be able to navigate a 4D model and to kind of show that to everybody and work with it. But I wanted it simple enough where anybody could just grab a 4D model and navigate it. When you print a Gantt chart out on paper, people can grab that and flip through it. That I wanted 4D models to be the same way. So I saw this ENR article about a year back that really inspired me, about the future of 4D. And in fact, the name even inspired the name of this invention, 4D Scheduling's Time Machine. So I do a ton of travel, take about 100 flights a year. And when I'm sitting on the plane, I always sketch up ideas and draw things. And this was my first sketch of the time machine. Bunch of different ideas of how I'd want it to be configured, how I want it to look. And so I pulled open some modeling software and came up with this basic layout here. I went to my basement, that room, and I started soldering wires together. I 3D printed this out. A bunch of different configurations, kept printing and trying different things. Threw a microcontroller in there and learned that I could create USB controllers and started learning to program. I've ended up with 750 lines of code in this thing, and lots of iterations and a lot of trial and error. But came up with my first working prototype, which I took around with me to job sites for a couple months and used them there to be able to, to easily navigate the 4D models, and I could hand it over to the superintendents and other users and let them take control of the 4D model and see it. I found that when they're able to navigate it on their own, they get a lot more out of it. So they can go back and forth in time and control it. As a video, they kind of lose track of it, but when they have a live model and they can navigate it, they give you much better feedback from what I've found. Here's another prototype I built. And I started building prototypes and sending them around, letting people try them out. Then I learned that I could design circuit boards to make it a little simpler. So I started researching that and learned and designed my own circuit boards and had a few different versions of it. I started using higher resolution 3D printers, trying to create a better look, and felt that I could kind of work in that direction, but ultimately I decided I had to go with injection molding. So I put in a really good sized investment and started injection molding the time machine. And I wound up with this device. So up at the top here, we see that it has all the playback buttons. So you have the skip buttons, go by steps, play forward and backwards, stop. This round knob in the middle is the principal feature that I was inspired to put on there. Is it's giving somebody a knob they can just grab and spin, keeping it that simple. You can also push the knob down to toggle it to play and stop. I envision this being used on kiosks at job sites where you can just leave it just sitting there where anyone can just walk up and use it. So I put a loop mode on it where you can click that and leave the 4D model playing, speed selections, ability to change viewpoints and animations, and then 4 buttons at the bottom here to change the screen layouts. And here it is, finished product. One day I walked in on my 3-year-old son navigating a 4D model. And when that happened, I realized that it's there. That it's ready for anybody to use. So there's a couple links to some videos of the functionality and also a video of my 3-year-old using the time machine, which is kind of fun. And just makes it a live workflow. We're not just looking at a static piece of paper. We don't have to send videos out to people anymore. We can send them the live 4D model. And SYNCHRO actually has a free viewer you can send to anybody. And this device is plug and play. You just plug it in to any computer that you install the free software on, and they can navigate the live 4D model. So I'm going to jump now to live demonstration mode here. So right here we've got the time machine, and then a model that I actually presented to an owner about a month and a half ago. On this particular project, I wanted the superintendent to present it. I didn't want to, it means so much more when the superintendent's the one describing to the owner how we're going to build their job and why. And so I handed him the time machine, and he was able to do the following. He was able just to grab it. Let me click on SYNCHRO really quick. He was able to grab it and just rotate the knob. You can go back and forth. It's that simply. And he's able to rotate it here and pause at any point you wanted to, and say, well, we're actually going to start these pile caps on the east side, work to the west. We'd leave more time to build this retaining wall. And then we were also able to discuss, like, here's why we're starting the steel on the north side. We're going to bring the crane back because the south side is more complex steel. It's going to take longer. And we want to be able to get started on this interior space more quickly. So pushing this viewpoints button, I can jump to a new viewpoint in SYNCHRO. And I have the viewpoint shown off to the left here. With this view, we were able to describe to the owner, here's why we use 2 crawler cranes rather than a tower crane. We wanted to be able to take advantage of this time to get started on the parking structure while we're finishing that up. The other great thing about a live 4D model is you can grab it anytime you want and move around and say, well, maybe we're going to have to leave this steel out here until we get that crane out of there. And I can just jump to the next scene, be a new place and time. It can be different filters. You can have cutting planes. You can do anything you want with these viewpoints. There's another viewpoint here. And these viewpoints are something that you can set. You set them in SYNCHRO, and anybody that's viewing it can use these viewpoints. With this scene right here, this viewpoint wanted to describe the process of the exterior skin, like what methods we were going to use, how we were going to go about the process here. I can easily just jump here and explain to the owner, here's why we wanted to put this equipment at the ground level early on before we got the exterior installed there. Talking about some of the overhead equipment. They can just jump around to these different viewpoints and tell a different story. But just the simplicity of being able is to hit the play button, being able to pause it, jump step by step. It makes it very easy. One thing you'll notice, if I have this 4D review button up at the top, these the speed buttons actually affect the number of days each step jumps. So if I wanted to jump 2 weeks at a time, I can do that with a simple click of a button. and just have that nice, clean, tactile feedback. Questions at this point?
Yeah, we have one question come in. Does this work with SYNCHRO Azure offering or just local install of SYNCHRO?
So it works with both. So, SYNCHRO is installed, or let me say this, like you're talking like Azure SWP hosting?
I would think so, but maybe Nathan, you want to clarify that? Are you saying Pro on Azure or SWP on Azure? Both, he said. Okay.
Okay, so if you're just using SWP on Azure, you'll be able to use the time machine as normal because you'll have a local install on your computer. But if you're, actually, so I'll say it this way. So what the time machine does is it basically sends shortcut keys. It pretends it's a keyboard and sends tons and tons of shortcut keys really fast to SYNCHRO at a rate of 2,000 per second. And so if it recognizes keyboard shortcut keys when you host Pro in Azure, the time machine will work. So.
Do you want to show how you can set your own shortcut key? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so I'll show you. It's another cool thing. If I want to repurpose some of these buttons along the bottom, for example, the 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, I have those set to change the memo view. Kind of changes the arrangement and layout of the windows. But let's say you want to use them for something different. I'd right-click up on the ribbon up top here, customize ribbon, and then you'll notice this window here comes up and says I can customize my keyboard shortcuts. So I click on that, and let's say I want to go to, and the cool thing about SYNCHRO is anything can become a shortcut key. Any command in SYNCHRO, like it's just got lists and lists of different things you can set as shortcut keys, and you can customize them. So let's say 3D paths. If I want to make this shortcut key right here, number 1, change 3D paths, I'll click on it with my cursor in this window here, and notice it's sending the shortcut key that the time machine's producing. I'll hit assign, and when I close out of here, if I hit that same button again, you'll notice 3D paths just popped up here, and I can toggle that on and off. And let's say if I set a bunch of shortcut keys and change my mind and just want to go back to defaults, I can always go back to that same window and just click Reset All. And it brings it all back to the normal functions.
So people could really play around, see what it is that is important or valuable to them, and easily set up the keys to customize them to their needs. So you can just see what variety and what the opportunities are here depending on the role of the person using it. I mean, I don't know, Steve, have you ever given it to an owner to use to go through the model at all?
Yeah, we have a project in South Carolina where we have the owners, subcontractors, everybody using an SWP hosted SYNCHRO project. And I've been giving time machines out to let them test and try, and the owners always seem to really like being able just to take control of the model and just use it. So it's good for all parties. I mean, yeah, even down to having subcontractors using the time machine to visualize the project and see what's going to be happening at different stages of the job.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, we have another question came in from one of your old colleagues. How about that, from Ken?
Oh, no.
So, hi, Ken. Thanks for joining us. What's the current price for the time machine? Well, right now, through the end of the year, we have a promotion going on. The regular price is $250, and the current promotional price is $99. So for $99, you can get this in the 4D model into the hands of anybody and create a lot of value. So we ship for free in the U.S. and internationally. There is a $25 shipping charge, and you can purchase the device on the SYNCHRO Pro page of our website. It's under add-ons, so if you go to the Pro page and you scroll down, you'll see the time machine there, and you can purchase it online with a credit card if you want, or you can email us and we'll get you out. We'll send one to you in the mail. All right, we have another question that's come in here. So thanks, Ken, for that question. Would be interested to have an example. I can show clients.
Okay. So like, if you're saying like an example project, we have the SYNCHRO sample project and all that.
That's what he means, because these guys have projects. So do you want to clarify what it is you want an example of?
Maybe you're saying a sample product to show, or?
Maybe even a copy of this video would give them a overview of what the time machine does, if that's what you're looking for. You could share the recording with them. If there's something else that you're looking for that we're not understanding, send through. Yes to show, but think video is good too.
Okay. So yeah, if there's a video, there are your projects, sample projects available with SYNCHRO, and then, if you have any, and this is the thing, it's a small enough operation to where if you have specific questions or things, like, feel free to reach out to me directly.
Okay, we have another question. Please share the recording. I have a couple of guys who need to see it. Okay, that's good. I know this has kind of probably been a little bit hidden. Steve unveiled this in a prototype stage at our conference last year, and we do have it on the website, but if you don't know it's there, we probably need to do a little bit more promotion. But it's amazing what it does. And you see all the buttons on the user interface in Pro, and it can be intimidating to a lot of people, but this gives everyone the ability to easily flip through it, and you can either set up viewpoints for them or, like Steve did, show them how to do it. And so it really leverages the value of the 4D model. Okay, if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to submit. And as Steve said, you can follow up with us later too. That's all we were going to go through today.
Perfect. Well, really appreciate you coming to the presentation. And if you have any questions or need anything, feel free to reach out to me directly and I'll get you answered.
So take care. Signing off for me and Steve. And if you have any other webinars you'd like to see, also feel free to send through the suggestions. But appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.